Hey y'all, today of course it's Matt Rogers on the Honorable Mention podcast. Got a couple friends on that you haven't heard in a while, Neuby and Berg. You got Dan Newbert and Adam Rosenberg. How's it going, guys?
Good, man. We're glad to be back. We always come back right before a Niners game. This is actually a third time being co-hosts with you or being guests. It's kind of like Saturday Night Live.
Absolutely.
Like
we've tried. Like he was like, "Yeah, hey, man, if one of you want to come on," and we're like, "No, it's a package deal.
It's a package.
If you got one of us, you got both of us. Tag
always,
team.
Awesome.
Always. It's like
That's
a mega
the
power.
best.
It's just like, yeah, it's just
People mash these episodes because the shit is hilarious.
you just bring us on for the clicks.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, anyways, we back for the Chronicles of Riddick, Hassan Riddick. He's only got 8.5 sacks so far this year, so I don't know.
7 of them are in the last 4 games.
Yeah, once he fixed his hand, he's been cooking.
Yeah, he's
with
been
gas,
cooking.
partner.
He got Derek Barnett kicked off the team so that he could play more.
That's a good point.
It's
Good
awesome.
move too.
Oh, he's great. Well, it's actually like it's not even just him. It's apparently that, not to put us on a tangent, but like I got into this conversation with somebody because they were like, Nolan Smith's definitely going to get a sack next week. I'm like, I think Nick Sirianni hates Nolan Smith. And even though like I love him and I think he's going to get good, but like he's like, why do you think that? And Sirianni's quote, they said to him like, do you think that not starting Derek Barnett, you'll give Nolan Smith more snaps? And Sirianni was like, we really like what Nolan Smith is doing on special teams, and we think that this gives us an opportunity to see more of Hassan and Josh. And I'm like, that is reading between the lines that he is definitely not on his good side.
Well, Sweat's got 6.5. He's doing all right. I felt like I saw Nolan Smith more last game though.
He's there, but he's not like they're tightening the rotation. I mean, the other thing about Sweat is that I don't know if you guys disagree, but like Sweat is the kind of guy that Sweat's going to get signed by some team for like 6 years, like, $90 million, and no one's ever going to hear from him again. Like he's not Hassan. I don't think he's special. Like
he's not special. He's good though.
He's good.
I know, but
I think
he also he might be getting a little too big for his britches, because I was actually at that Bills game and they announced before the game like the defensive starters. He now has the like loudspeaker, like the dude doing the announcements in there and everything, calling him Sweaty J. Like even when he makes a tackle in game, he's like Sweaty J on the tackle, and I'm literally like, come on, Joshy. I think we're getting a little too big for our britches when we're having the announcer literally calling us Sweaty J. You know what I mean?
I mean, look. Also, if other guys on that team weren't, if 90-year-old Fletcher Cox wasn't being double teamed in the middle, I guarantee Josh Sweat wouldn't have any sacks.
That's Sweaty J to you. Call him by his proper name. He identifies as Sweaty J, and he
only
will be
city that has
referred
had
to as
Swaggy
such.
P.
Wipe the forehead.
We've had
That is the sweetest.
Swaggy P,
that is
and we've had
an incredible
Sweaty
spelling,
J.
I will say.
Sweaty J, man. Respect that man.
Yeah. Don't be calling him Josh Sweat up in here. He changed his name legally. His driver's license says Sweaty J. They pull him over there like Sweaty J. Smells like weed in the car, bro. Like, what are we doing? He's like, I'm Sweaty J. What do you want from me?
I don't know about any kind of potential, anything like that.
It's off the rails. Off the rails.
Man. I don't worry about this team. I mean, look, guys, they got to make room. Shaq Leonard's coming.
I would love that.
But it wouldn't be until he's waiting to find out if he wants to go to the Cowboys or the Eagles. He's going to like sit out and think it over the weekend. You heard that? You guys heard that?
I don't know. I mean, I think what it really is that, first of all, if the Eagles don't sign him, there's something wrong with him.
That's a good point.
I mean, I get why Dallas absolutely needs him because they don't have Leighton. They have nobody who can tackle, and like, good point. Like, and basically Micah Parsons has to run it like spies and runs around and actually plays more like an edge, but they need him. Cunningham's been great for us, isn't it? Yeah, that's who it is, right?
Yeah,
Cunningham. I think he's been great. I mean, we're gonna have problems next year because like Nakobe Dean couldn't like grab. He's gonna
be thrust in because Cunningham's hurt this week.
Oh yeah, well.
Great. This is the great week to be losing guys against this offense they're facing.
You know what though? This team
and Shaq Leonard think it over the weekend.
Winning.
What the hell, man?
Yeah, what is that? You can't be just taking a sabbatical, bro. It's like week 13. People need you, dog.
Isn't this what you want to do? Help create a championship contender? He wants to sit it out and see.
Apparently not. He wants to chill for a weekend. He's like, I've been practicing. I've been playing. I've been, smelling the Colts owner's alcohol breath. Like, I need a week off is what
the Colts treated it like he retired.
Right.
Yeah, that was weird.
28.
It was so weird.
It was like an in memoriam post.
It was, something. So Quez Watkins or Zaccheaus after the magical play that they hit last week? I mean, they're starting to get Quez Watkins back into the fold. Are y'all feeling Quez or Zaccheaus?
I'm sorry you have to edit this, but how the fuck did that play happen, Matt?
Yeah,
oh my God. In the pouring rain, he finds a dude who, doesn't deserve any target that he gets, and he makes himself deserve it. The way that Hurts even found him and even pointed him out, that was one of the best plays I think that we've seen Jalen Hurts and a receiver make, and a receiver not named, I guess AJ Brown would be the best way to say that.
Yeah,
or
that was a really good throw, and
it really was
for a guy who
that's better than the Carson
Madden would
to
be
Miles
rated
Sanders
52.
joint.
Like that was insane.
I agree, Matt.
Sorry to cut you off, Berg.
No. I'm excited. He had no business catching that. It was great.
No, but here's the thing is like that also wasn't Hurts just like throwing it up there. Like when you rewatch the play, like
absolutely.
He really placed that ball nicely, man. And there are some times with Hurts where he's just kind of like, fuck it, somebody's open down there. That play was an orchestration. Like I'm not in the camp. I'm not really like a big like Jalen Hurts MVP guy. Because I wish that we were seeing a little bit more as a totality of a game from him. Sure. But that ending of that game and that play specifically, those are where you can kind of talk me into this guy's playing at an MVP level. Because that's an MVP play that he made right there. Like that, if that's Pat Mahomes, a lot of heads every show is talking about that throw for 2 weeks. If that's Pat Mahomes.
At the end of the season, going to have a lot of walls. He got a lot of heads on the wall. You go hunting, he got Mahomes, got
it's
Allen,
like that meme where he's like the Grim Reaper,
Prescott.
Just going like door to door, and every door has blood coming out of it.
It doesn't have to look pretty. Yeah, a couple, get a shot in on him.
Doesn't matter.
But, hey, I'm walking out.
Yeah,
dude, good team. You know what? Like people can. You know what? Did the Bills outplay us? Sure. Did the Chiefs outplay us? Sure. Right. Guess what? At the Super Bowl, we outplayed the Chiefs. So it's sort of like, and that doesn't matter about who wins. Like winners win. Winners find ways to win. And the last time that we had a season where Jake Elliott hit a 60-yard field goal, we won a Super Bowl.
Well, it was technically not 60 though. 59. I don't know. It was 59.
It's the longest field goal that he has hit since that one that beat the Giants in that season, where he had.
And it was in the pouring freaking rain.
Street from and it had 3 yards to spare. He was signed off the street. He knew it too. He knew it right away.
I'm glad Matt said that too, because I literally said to my dad before, that's who I was at the game with, and I go, look at what those flags are doing. Like the flags were whipping, because that's the side of the end zone that gets the most affected by wind, because it was that south end zone that's closest to the skyline. And that is the one that the wind just comes in and whips around. And the flags were going back. They were going forward. Luckily, they died down when he went to kick it. But as he was stepping up, and of course, after they get the false start penalty that backed them up, made it even tougher. I said to my dad, if he makes this is the most impressive kick of his career. And I know everyone's going to go to the 61 Giants one. I was there that night, dude. That was the most impressive kick of his career.
Yeah.
That one was crazy because he signed him off the street that week.
True.
This one was like, but honestly, you knew it before he did it. I only caught the last 5 minutes of the game because I was doing whatever. Like, it's just, it's a very different team. The breaks go our way.
Agreed.
And the breaks have gone our way for the last 2 years.
That's true. But how much of that, again, is them putting themselves in a position that breaks can go their way, and the thing can come up heads. That's where I think the talking heads and the people like us who are really like in it every week. And I try and, not be a fanboy. I try not be like, I bet against them, and I made money on my Bills plus 3.5 ticket last week. Like I thought it was a great spot for the Bills.
System play.
But this team, dude, like at some point you can't just say it's luck, and that's what all the
Luck
sharps
goes-
want to do.
luck
That's what
goes
all the
both ways.
talking heads want to do, and it's not the reality of what's happening right now.
Well, luck doesn't make sense unless you are playing the same game 100 times, and you are
Great
not,
point.
because then luck is a factor. But guess what? Luck goes both ways, and bad bounces happen. And at a certain point, also, it's very, very hard for you to look at anybody on this team and say, yeah, they're lucky and they're untalented. No, they're getting breaks their way and they're talented. And guess what? Like, they're a tremendously flawed team. But honestly, with the exception of if I go through all the teams this year, especially versus last year, every team has a major flaw and and some, like the Chiefs and us, are more flawed in certain areas than they were last year. The Niners are infinite. The Niners defense
A lot of parity
line this year is way worse than it was last year. The Niners pass defense is ranked in the 20s. The Niners rush defense is, while it's like the Russell Westbrook of defensive lines, confusing hustle and sweat with performance. Like, their sacks and their things are down, and they're doing a great job of feasting on bad guys. Like, I don't think that team stinks, but that team is definitely not what, like, that team last year was probably going into facing us like better and just like more finely tuned. They were on a 10-game winning streak or 12-game winning streak or whatever it was. They are like, there's a lot of issues. That team cannot defend a deep pass, and neither can we. But it's just kind of like I don't know. Is there a team? You guys tell me, what's the most flawless team that you have seen in the NFL this year?
You know who I'm going to say. So
Who?
The Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, well, that's it.
I mean, you have to pick flaws. I think at the end of the day, they decided to sign Bradbury and Slay. It's really the slot that we're getting killed in. And if we can get Maddox back for the playoffs, that's going to be a huge addition.
Hot take, but I don't care about him.
You don't care about Avonte Maddox? Because
he's not moving in, like, first of all, he's never in enough that it matters anymore. I think that, like, we're confusing the time when he was like, I'm willing to play anything, and he made a couple big plays. Like, it's, you know what? Like, what I really
one of the top slot corners in the league.
I want him over Job. I tell you that.
I want him
over everybody too, on
I'm not upset
everybody
with Ricks. I'm not upset with
over them moving Slay into the slot. I do think that's a hot take, because I'm with Matt on this one. I think he does a lot that helps you out there, that also gives the guys on the confidence on the outside to be a little bit more playmaker driven. Like Bradbury breaking on that ball where he got an interception in the Bills game. Like, I feel like he was more comfortable doing that when he had a Maddox in the slot. I think we do miss Maddox a little bit, is really what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I think we miss having like a good presence there, but I don't think that Maddox is consistent enough that we can be like, he's one of the best shutdown.
He's not,
because he's always hurt.
He's always hurt guy. No, yeah.
But that's also,
don't let him go. This is the end of his career.
Look, I think he is great for the stuff that he is. I think that this time his injuries are. I think he's got really bad knee injuries and really bad. I mean, he's out for the season, right? I assume. Like, he's
no, they haven't. He could make an appearance in a deep playoff run.
My biggest takeaway on everything.
It's like Reese Hoskins.
Well, look, my biggest takeaway on everything that happens with this team is it's funny because the linebackers look better, but not great, and they never look great. Defensive line always looks great. Slay's made some big plays, but otherwise Slay looks not as great as Bradbury, and Bradbury looks not as great as last year, but not bad. That's really what it comes down to. Like, I mean, like I don't think that we have. I don't think we have decrepit secondary. I just think that we don't tackle well and we make poor decisions, which has been the story of the Eagles secondary at the second half of seasons for the last 2 decades.
And I think too, you're looking at a defense that takes more risks than they did last year. So yes, I think a lot of the schematic differences, but what Desai brings from what we had with Gannon is also why the pass defense is giving up a lot. And that's not to say, like, I don't think the defense, yes, the stats say they're markedly worse, but when it comes to bend, don't break, the defense has stepped up when they have needed to step up. Not this last game withstanding, for what it's worth. But I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that Desai's asking these guys to do a lot more than Gannon ever did. And I feel like that's why it maybe, if we want to nitpick and say, comparing it to last year, why it looks like these guys are struggling a little bit more, because they're being asked to do a lot more than they were under Gannon, in my opinion.
Gannon's guys it never felt like we had a plan.
No.
And
with Desai, we don't have a plan until the second half adjustments.
Right.
But the second half adjustments are fucking
sick.
money.
The second half adjustments are great. But the best thing I do notice about this team is that, I mean, look, guys, like, can say what we want. Like, they're getting killed on deep balls, but they're very good in the red zone, which is basically saying that they're essentially playing. Yeah, but they're essentially playing zone without playing zone, because they're keeping guys in front of what they're doing is they're controlling yardage in the areas where it matters.
Exactly.
Yep.
No,
like,
absolutely.
People can say whatever they want. Like, yeah, are we going to get beat on a 25-yard touchdown? Probably. Are we going to get beat on it? We're going to hold people to a field goal in the red zone? Way more likely than anybody else. We've shut down those breaks like it's nobody's business. Like, the defense that we had in the red zone for the Super Bowl was awful. The defense that we have, aside from last weekend, that we have in the red zone is fantastic right now. Look what Dallas has a fantastic red zone offense, and we mostly shut them down when they were in the red zone.
So Lane Johnson says he's ready to rock. Do you think that means that we're going to be able to run the ball more consistently? I mean, obviously we hit some chunk plays with DeAndre Swift, but we're not seeing those 200-yard games that we were piling up on people last
year. Yeah, but he's not. I don't think he's ever was going to be able to do that past the 6. He's still been great. I mean, like, he does the side. What's it called? Like, when it's not what's the opposite of a downhill runner? What's the other one?
Like the east to west shit.
East to west. He does east to west way better than like Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders used to do east to west and spin into like the line of scrimmage.
And be running directly parallel and gain 1 yard.
Right. But the thing is, the difference is that DeAndre Swift is an infinitely better pass catcher. So he's way better running east west. And he's able to make it into something.
I love me some DeAndre Swift, but I think those huge games that he had was like the worst thing that could happen for our rushing attack, because call me crazy, guys, I want to see some more Kenny G. I think what Kenny G brings to the game dynamically, I like Kenny G back there.
He'd be running the wrong way, though.
No, he does run the wrong way.
Well, he's really a wide, because he's a wide receiver. Because I don't see him like a running back. He's like a wide receiver.
But I think of Kenny G. I just think of some smooth saxophone playing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Swiss Army knife.
I will say I really like the alignment when they brought out Swift and Kenny G. They had Swift basically like playing as like a fullback lead blocker. Exactly. I love if they did a lot more of that stuff. I'd honestly love if they threw in a little bit of wishbone, boys, and literally had like a triple option play where they have Hurts, Kenny G, and Swift all on the same play.
If Kenny G runs the right way, it might be interesting.
That's true. We do have to worry about that, where like Hurts is like, he has him in his pocket. He's ready to pitch it on the wishbone option. And then there's just nobody there because Kenny G's already on the other sideline. Yeah.
Because of Kenny G.
You're right. But I will say, I mean, dude, you go with the team's record with and without Lane Johnson. And obviously they were able to break that last week. But early on, man, that offensive line was bad. But for what it's worth, when Lane Johnson was injured the week prior, that was Lane Johnson's worst start of his career. So I think having the week off, he could have played in the Bills game, but clearly the Eagles are circling this game. And I know we're going to get into it. And I know what the sharp bettors are all doing. Anybody who, sells plays or anybody who loads plays, everybody's walking up to bet the 49ers this week. And, I think that a lot of it has to do with their motivation for this game. I think you're kidding yourself if you don't think the Eagles are just as up for this game as the 49ers are.
They're so up for this game. And I think about this team, and it's just like, I'm just looking at our notes, and it's just, I mean, you want a team that you want to get right spot for everybody. It's like this has been circled on the calendar. They are like, this is Adam's birthday weekend. We're going to come up and we're going to do this. It's going to shut up a lot of people.
What are people going to – I mean, at that point, the second Cowboys game and the Seahawks – I mean, of course it matters because it's the Cowboys. But at that point, you kind of have sewn up – if they beat the Niners and then beat the Cowboys, it's sewn up. The division.
They don't even need. I think if they beat the Niners, they will have, because right now the Niners are 2 losses behind them for the 1. Magic number is 1.
To clinch the playoff,
clinch the 1,
but
the 1 seed.
But that would be division. Our division. Well, because we wouldn't clinch the division though. We still have to clinch the division.
No, we still have to clinch the division. But the thing is that the 1 seed is like you can make up wins. You can't make up losses. So if we're at that point, if
11-1,
we beat the Niners, we're 3 losses behind us because that'll be their.
Well, the Cowboys couldn't the Cowboys go to 9-3 this week?
Sure. But the Niners won't be able. The Niners aren't going to.
No, Niners couldn't. The Cowboys could. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know about that. I mean, even if we split with the Cowboys, and I do like the Cowboys tomorrow night for a variety of reasons. Like the Cowboys consistently do not look good against good teams. And the Cowboys got waxed by this Niners team.
They did. Well, they've only beaten up on the little guys this year.
Yeah, they beat up on all the little guys. People want to talk about an easy schedule. They've had an incredible
last year. That's all we heard. Is
I know.
Hey, you guys are running it up on people.
And then Dallas's record against teams with a winning record, they can't even, they can't even keep up in those games. And then all they do, like, dude, but that's what Jerry Jones wants. He wants to beat up on the little guys. He wants to cover. He wants people to come to Jerry World, see a blowout. Oh, it's such a great time. That's Dallas Cowboys football, man. That's Dallas Cowboys football, man.
I love it. Keep it up, guys. A little over under 2 receptions for Dallas Goedert.
Is he playing?
Entirely sure. Yeah, we're not entirely sure that he does play. That's why I put it at 2. But Dallas Goedert very well could be back this week.
If he plays, I'm taking the over.
Yeah, if he plays, I'm taking the over. But I think he's coming back against the Cowboys.
I'm with.
That's
you.
the for sure.
I don't
week.
think he plays.
I don't think he plays.
I don't think they need him to play. Honestly, like. I love.
Here's that's disrespectful. That's a bullet.
No. And here's the reason why I don't think they need him to play. I'm not going to say it's because Jack Stoll is going to cook, which he very well might. But no, okay. I think the reason is because yes, Dallas Goedert makes this offense harder to defend and extremely dynamic, but what I like about it when Dallas Goedert is out of the lineup is it raises Devonta Smith's usage, and that's only a good thing for this offense when Devonta Smith is getting more looks and A.J. Brown isn't just like, why aren't the looks going to me? I got to fight with you on the sideline right now. Like, I think this team is at its best when the target share is greatly almost split down the middle from A.J. Brown and then Devonta Smith and then all of the rest. And I think all of the rest should include Dallas Goedert because when those two are on the outside or they're moving him into the slot. And Devonta Smith kills it in the slot when Dallas Goedert's out. Absolutely. And that's why his target share rides. So don't get me wrong. This team is ultimately better when Dallas Goedert is there. I just wish that the target share didn't drop off so starkly off a cliff for Devonta Smith when he's in the lineup.
Yeah,
agreed.
He's such a dynamic player. Can, like to Dan's point, he can play in the slot. He can play deep. He has such good hands and such good speed. And there's a reason. Look, I just bought a new Eagles jersey. First Eagles jersey that I've had since my Ertz jersey I got in
Kelly Green.
Kelly Green, which by the way, side note, little underwhelming. I thought it's hear me out. It doesn't have that like Mitchell and Ness style, like a little bit of the accent. It's
the actual jersey that you have, correct?
Yeah. It's like I got it from it's one of the legend ones. It's like Kelly Green I like, but I like if I had done it again, I should have gotten the Kelly Green Mitchell and Ness one. Like that's got like the accent and that stuff. Like the jerseys that they're putting out that like the 90% of them that everybody has are like they're fine. It kind of feels like a gear.
The gear is fucking fire. The outside of the jersey, the hats, everything.
The gear is absolute fire. The pants, everything. But I
saw that fit I was rocking at the game. Holy shit! I did. I wanted to make out with myself, dude.
So I got a Hurts jersey because
I'm gonna have to pull it. I'm gonna have to check it out.
I got a Hurts jersey.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that fit.
It was a good fit.
It's fire.
I got. Look at that.
I think you zoomed in on somebody else.
I got
Look at them shoes.
Oh, that's fire,
the
dude.
shoes are nice.
Where'd you get those?
Dude, they were on sale. I'll send you the link.
I'll
All about
love
the
that.
kicks.
So anyway, I didn't get an AJ Brown jersey because I came to the conclusion. I mean, AJ Brown is about 6 months away from TOing. Like it's like I've seen this story. I know how this movie ends.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, we can come back.
I'm gonna take the over under. I'm gonna take the under one.
I'll take the under. I'll take the under 1.5 seasons. AJ Brown is still on the team for starting from now because Devonta Smith's gonna have to get paid next summer, and you're gonna get.
He's not a number one though. You believe Devonta Smith is a number one?
No, but I think you need to get I think you need to pay Devonta Smith.
I do believe Devonta Smith would be a number one on any team that he's on.
Any other team.
I actually do believe that.
But look, I've watched this story before, and we've seen AJ Brown, and I'm just saying AJ Brown is going to get probably annoyed. Look, Howie doesn't make contracts that are great for players. He never does that. So like somebody's going to get upset in year 3 of their thing.
His contract is crazy.
That's a side tangent for another day. But to Dan's original point, no Goddard allows Devonta Smith to play much better and allows them to, honestly, I kind of love how they're using Julio Jones in these situations too, because they're using him as a body in there. And Julio Jones is like, I will do whatever you need. And he goes out there and he had a key play on that final drive. He has had some key catches where he's been needed because he's not going to drop because he is there for one reason. Hey, we probably need you on third down so you don't drop the ball. And you're a big body. And
Julio Jones is one of the greats. The greatest wide receivers to ever strap it up.
And Jalen Green showed it, or not? Was it? We had no business. It was pass interference, but like whatever, it's fine. We got by in that first round in the divisional round when we mugged him in the end zone twice.
About Jalen Mills. You're talking about
Jalen Mills,
because
Jalen Mills mugged him twice, but that's fine. You know what? I'm fine with it.
It looked like a clean play to me.
Julio, it does certainly look at like you can pull up the snapshots. The ball is going straight through Julio's hands by hook or by crook. That guy did not pull the ball down.
All great coverage. Couldn't have drawn it up any better defensively.
You know, I owe you one, Jalen Mills. Let me know anytime. I got you.
Is he on the Pats? I don't even know. Where is he now?
I think he is.
That's a guy who did anything that we asked him to do.
Yes.
Who?
He tried to be like a mini Malcolm Butler kind of.
Yeah, he played safety. He's like, I'll play safety. We're like, you're 5'2". He's like, I don't care. I'll do it.
I don't care.
Disrespected that man.
No, he said he would do it. He did anything that he wanted.
He said he's 5'2".
He's like 5'7", dude. He's like Boston Scott low. He's very tiny. Let's see. Let me see.
He's not. I think Jalen Mills is probably like 6 foot.
No, I think he's under. I haven't looked. Let's see. Over under 6 foot. I think he's under 6 feet.
Under 6 feet, but he's like 5'11", 6 foot.
Okay, then fine. Over under 5'11". I say under.
I'm going over.
It depends if you're looking at the roster or if you're getting it from his doctor's office because the roster.
It doesn't matter. I'm wrong. He's apparently he's 6 feet. So
that's a roster though. That means if the roster says that he's 6 foot,
5'10",
it might actually mean he's 5'10". Like you always get the 2-inch boost for the roster. If you have longer cleats, they'll give you the 3-inch boost.
Wait, let me look at his draft scouting.
Every football roster I was ever on said I'm 6'2". Boys, I'm 6 flat on a good day when I'm wearing shoes. Every football roster I was ever on said 6'2".
Yeah, his draft report says he's 5'11".
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you get 5'11". You get the veteran minimum, and that's where you get added on the 2.
But he was like
inches.
22. He could have grown an inch.
Yeah, he had a late growth spurt. He was a late.
What inch?
He was a late bloomer. He grew an inch.
Yeah.
Over under 250 passing yards for y'all's buddy Brock Purdy.
Over. They're not running the ball through us.
Well, I mean, it depends. If they block like how they blocked in the last game, Brock Purdy's going to have about 12 passing yards because they're going to crack his ass again. But let's understand. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. If he plays the whole game, that's a good number. He's probably right around that. I'd say like 262 passing, like 2 touchdowns, maybe 3 touchdowns is his final stat line.
This defense is torchable.
Mm-hmm. But they're also going to look to do it on the ground. They're going to look to like demoralize them. Like I feel like part of the thing is the the vitriol that this team holds for the Eagles might actually come back to bite them in the ass. Because I think
it's a fool's errand.
Exactly.
Exactly. Don't do that. That's a bad matchup. You're gonna test the Eagles at home, and then you're gonna have the Eagles defensive line shut your ass down and send you
We're
back.
like third in the league in takeaways. You really want to do this?
Yeah, and I will say though, the run game has looked a little susceptible these last 2 weeks. I will say the boys got to get
stand
going
up for this one though.
I think so.
Yeah, but they also keep in mind what the point is of that run game. Like ultimately, what the point is of a run game is not to be like the Titans, where like all you do is a run game. The point of the run game is to be a threat of a run game, and like that's what they need to do. The play calling is always a balance between making people think that you are a threat to do any of those things at any given time. That is the reason why, like the reason why the Chiefs are good is because Andy Reid, after 12 years here, where he's like, I'm just going to throw the ball every single time, like finally was like, you know what? I think I'm going to run the ball enough and have a generational quarterback that my teams are a threat on both sides of the offense. That's the thing with us, is that there is a threat that the run game can do that because our offensive line is good and our pass catchers are good and we know what we're doing there. I haven't liked any of that being said, my bigger concern is whatever has been good. And I've been texting with Dan about this, is what's going on with this first half play calling that is all like parallel. Like that's the stuff that you do if your quarterback's hurt. Like these are Zach Wilson type plays. Like what is going on there?
I think at least if we're just looking at last week, I think it was just get the ball out of his hand. It's shitty. It's this, it's that. If we're factoring in the Chiefs game, we could kind of say the same. Like how much of just trying to get the ball out quick had to do with the weather and the fact that the offensive line the last 2 weeks start the game has looked like turnstiles. So I don't understand how they can come out of the locker room the second half with such a beautiful game plan on both sides of the ball, but both sides of the ball cannot script an opening game plan to save their life.
They're just not. They don't look prepared.
They're like Rocky.
Any first half.
At all.
Ever. But then when they have 15
Rocky
chill about it, they're like, "Oh yeah,
we Rocky reference, Matt."
That's Rocky would be getting his ass kicked. Honestly,
it's so Philadelphia to be like, the team just suck early, and then it's just like, yeah, but that's where we want them rock. It's just like it's so.
Am I wrong?
So Philadelphia.
Am I factually wrong?
No, you are right, but it's just funny that like we as fans were just like, yeah, but did you ever see when Clubber Lang was giving him the old 1-2? You know what I mean? He was giving him the old rope-a-dope. You know what I mean? Like
Rocky was just getting his ass kicked and just pushed through. Yeah.
We somehow find a way to bring our fictional folk hero into the handicap of a football game, and that is why I love Philadelphia Eagles fans.
Yes, the best. Devontae Smith, we were talking about him earlier. 70 yards, over under 70 yards.
That number keeps getting higher, man.
What did it open at?
This is just the Matt Rodgers line.
Oh,
this is
Matt Rodgers
the Polita dope.
Yeah,
he's booking it for us. That's a good number. I would take under that because I've been cashing in when he's in like the mid 50s, the 60s. That's his sweet spot. But unless he gets a big bomb, it's not like he's like the volume guy that's going to go over that. So
go 6 for 64 and go the under.
That's exactly it. 6 for 64. That's the final stat line.
The thing that I think though, I don't know. Like, I mean, first of all, betting it, I don't go after any of those higher numbers anymore. Now I look at like who am I going to ladder that's like only listed for like 12 yards and could get up to 50. But for him, I mean, just the thing is, I do think that they're going to have a little bit more. Their physical team, which is really good against AJ Brown, like AJ Brown, like is that guy with that kind of thing. And but Devonta Smith, what he does well, they don't do well. Like he's explosive, and I could just see him getting all over the field and doing that kind of stuff. So look, I in an ideal world, I love it going over 70. I really think that we're just gonna. I think that this game is going to be much more of a grind out kind of game than a blowout type of thing. Like this feels to me like a little bit more of a
street fight.
Yeah, like a little bit more classic.
Yeah.
They're both the best. They're both great. The best teams in the NFC.
I'm also glad that you mentioned AJ Brown because this is an AJ Brown game, dude.
Oh,
2
yeah.
straight games
No
where
question.
he's just been, kind of nullified, really not looked to it. Sure, he got the touchdown last week, but he hasn't been that impact AJ Brown. I think a lot of that had to do with the weather they were going in. He strikes me as a guy who's just kind of like, fuck this rain, dude. I don't want to be out here. Like, I'm not saying lack of
they
trying.
zoomed in on the stand and the side, and he's just like miserable.
So if it's a nice night in South Philly, man, AJ Brown, anytime touchdown, alt line him. I think it's one of his 100-yard nights coming up because I also don't think that the 49ers defense is all that great. Like outside of that pass rush,
I don't think there's
star wide receivers come out in these games. Period.
Agreed.
Like? The weather's looking like it looks like we're getting a 23% chance of rain, but 41 degrees.
Take your Deebo Samuel rushing receiving overs. I don't know what the number that is. It's going to be a high one. It's going to be a square play. Take that over. Brandon Ayuk over receptions. That's something that I'm eyeing. And then, like I said, the AJ Brown stuff. I like that quite a bit.
I like, and I'll probably take whatever CMC receiving prop there is.
And we just put in automatic throwing in. If you're making a same game parlay, you continue to put Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown. Yeah, I don't care, but put it at minus 300. It's going in my fucking parlay. Like it's
book it.
Yeah, I mean, like you're looking at how this thing's happened. It is an AJ Brown game because it's going to be a big game. I'm also expecting them to go after some guys that we haven't seen before. Like I think we get our long-awaited Alberto anytime touchdown.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh!
And I'm expecting
Berg. The only reason that's hurt your Alberto is the dude cannot block to save.
No, but you know what? He's perfectly fine in that red zone on the goal line when we do one of the. They wouldn't put him out there, dude. So when Goddard went down and they had all those red zone plays, like he was out there for all 6 of them. He's out there on all the red zone stuff. Like he's the only one who can do that. I mean, look, he's the only touchdown. He's the only tight end on the roster who has a career touchdown reception.
Ooh, oh my gosh.
But I would like to formally suggest that we announce the return of one Boston Scott. I think we need.
I love me some B. Scotty.
I want Boston Scott in between the tackles
anytime
to get
touchdown
fired up. I mean, it's not even.
Are
against
you just
the Giants.
going for a lot of yards?
I mean, first of all, he's going to be. I mean, the problem is at the goal line there are 2 things that are happening. Jalen Hurts or Jalen Hurts. So it's like, it's not really like I actually don't think that there's a lot of value on Boston Scott anytime touchdown. I'd much rather look at him for like, he's probably going to have a very low rushing number which is probably going to be like 10.5 or 12.
I think you're right.
Honest.
I think you're right.
It'd probably be 10.5. They'll probably be 10.5 if that. And I would take the over on it because it's just going to be, like they're going to use them the way that we talked about Kenny G and how big that Niners front 7 is. That's the kind of guy that you use.
Oh, hide behind and
make MAGA Nick have to bend over to catch him.
We talked about this last year. It's not. I don't think it's slander. I mean, I think he's I am.
He's embraced it.
He's embraced it. It was I mean, he found out, and then Chase Young came back, and it was like, oh man, this is awkward. Like, so about those things I said. So.
Also, I'm just on DraftKings right now. Do they really think nobody's going to be kicking field goals in this game? Jake Elliott and Jake Moody, total field goals, both of them are plus money, over 1.5. We really think they're not going to settle for field goals in a game that
definitely
think they need
in points? A game that very well could be a defensive slugfest.
That was something that we cashed in on last time when these teams played. It was Jake Elliott. So it's plus 124 for Jake Elliott, over 1.5. Somehow the under is minus 160. Jake Moody's plus 110. Somehow his under is minus 140. Maybe the better way to get at it, if you think there is going to be, I mean, both of them aren't too juicy to go over 6.5. They're kicking points, but kicking props are some of my favorite things to do. And I think field goals and using the weapons that you have, both of these guys are weapons. They're not just kickers. I'm shocked to see those numbers at plus money.
Yeah. I would definitely get some of that. Well, we're taping this before the Cowboys Thursday night football game. I don't think they cover the 9, but I do think the Cowboys win this game. What about y'all?
Oh, I think the Cowboys win this game. I know there's lots of talk about look aheads and stuff, but I think the Cowboys throttle this team. Sorry, but like
they
the Cowboys. The Cowboys have gone over 30 points in six straight home games. They've gone over 27.5 points in 9 out of the last 10 home games. They've had 40 in 3 straight home games. They do a different thing at home. I think that they are going to run over this Seattle team. Look, Gino's hurt, and there's no reason to think that this. Like it's fine. It's just like this Dallas team is going to do that. I don't think this Dallas team is very good, but this Dallas team takes care of business against inferior teams.
I feel like this is a big turnover game for the Cowboys. I think the Seattle defense is going to play better, give them a tougher game. More in my eyes, it's more like a 29-23 game.
Here's the thing is like everybody talks about Thursday night football, this Thursday night football, that when teams are like big favorites like this 9.5, I think we're looking at, right? Is what the spread is in this game.
I saw 9. You saw 9.5.
I think I've seen 9.5s out there. I don't know what it's sitting at right now. I don't know, Berg, if you have an odd screen up or anything like that. But all I know is when home favorites are over 7 points, 21-2 straight up on Thursday night football, 16-5-2 against the number that's since 2014. Like big favorites roll on Thursday night football.
I mean, it's like the total's high and has gone up. Like it's 47.
This game's going over, by the way. I know it's all about primetime unders. This game is going over because if Seattle even has a pisser's chance in this game, they have to score points. So I'm gonna let people
score points. How are they going?
I don't know.
Scored 14. Look, they scored 14 against the Niners. They can do it. They're just like they're not going to be able to keep up. Like it's 8.5, and I think Dallas is going to cover this.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Dallas covers. Dallas covers. Game goes over. That's the way I'm betting it.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
I put in Dallas, the over 27.5.
The team total over. I like that.
Team total over. And I was going to do those alts that I said to you, but instead I'm probably going to do a sprinkle on over 48.5 at plus 115 rather than because I'm pretty confident that it's going to go over. Look, it's basically at a certain point, if they score, if they're down by, I think at a given time, they're going to be down by at least 10 points or 2 touchdowns. So that forces Seattle and starting to do 2-point conversions. So that is going to lead me to like this game landing on, 49 points and being that kind of thing. I think this game is going over. We saw it last time. Like the game went over with the Niners at the end. It's just, I just do not think that ultimately this Seattle team is going to be able to beat this Dallas team. It's just, especially at home.
Yeah, and I also, last thing that I'll say on this one, I know it's a higher total, so the douchebag gatekeepers are going to say, that's not an advantage, teaser. But Dallas Cowboys down to 2.5, Philadelphia Eagles up to 8.5. The I thought you called us the NFC least parlay. That's the way I'm doing it. Teaser on that. Both of them going through 7, both of them going through 3. I know they have higher totals, but 8.5 down to 2.5. Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles 2.5 up to 8.5. I'd pay minus 120 to bet that. I like that.
Yep, I think that's great.
The Broncos are surprisingly competitive again. They go against the Texans. I think the Texans win this game. I don't know about the 3.5. What do y'all think?
I love the Broncos are my favorite play this week.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah,
I love the absolute favorite play. Broncos are back.
Okay.
And we didn't text about this either.
We didn't text about this.
The Broncos.
No, Broncos are I got asked today, like my favorite play this week, and it's Broncos getting 3.5. Like this Texas, I love this Texas team. I love D'Amico. I like CJ Stroud, but the Texans defense has gotten progressively worse over the last 5 weeks. It's a young team. They're missing O-line guys. They just signed up guys from their practice squad that are CBs, which means that Stringley is probably not 100%. And this Broncos team is like taking away the ball on his vintage defense right now that they're game planning really well. I love this Broncos team. Getting key number and a hook is huge to me. I love the Broncos this week. I think they win.
You're talking like they're a sneaky play for a divisional round.
Like they are playing well, man. They have a top 3. The last 5 games they've had a top 3 defense DVOA, and they're just bringing it, and they're just shutting teams down in the right way, and they're doing it by like forcing teams to play at a slower pace. Because like you got to remember, this Texans team is an over team. They want to play with pace. They want to play really quickly. Tank Dell showed up on the injury report this morning. I don't know there's a bunch of different guys that are like, they're all fast receivers and things like that, but this Broncos team wants to grind it out and wants to play like boring, disgusting football. And but their defense has been so good. I really like this. I really like the Broncos this weekend.
And for me, all of what he says, I say ditto. And the other thing for me that I would add is, this is my old "if it ain't broke, don't fix it" kind of play. If I'm getting points with the Houston Texans, sign me up. I want to bet them yesterday. I want to bet them tomorrow. I want to bet them any way, which way I can when they're getting points. But rookie quarterback, a team that is over exceeding expectations, and a team that I said was going to do that before the season. Every time I bet on a Houston Texans game, I've done it probably 8 times this year. I don't have my spreadsheet in front of me. I'm 8-0 or 7-0, whatever it is, whether I'm on them or against them. I have had the read on this team. And the thing is, until they cover as a favorite, I have no interest in betting this team as a favorite. That's just the reality of it for me, because this Houston team, until they cover, I'm not buying it. They're 0-4 against the spread. As a matter of fact, they're 0-4 straight up as a favorite this season. So Broncos plus 3.5. Hell yeah. Broncos money line. Let's ride.
And for me, it's like this Broncos team is 6 straight, 7 straight, something like that. And that's ain't broke, don't fix it. It ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm going to keep betting them until they give me a reason not to.
Yeah.
It goes both sides.
Agreed.
The Chiefs are going into Green Bay as favorites this weekend. 6.5 point favorites. What are y'all thinking on that one?
I like the way the Packers are playing right now. They're playing with I don't have to like any of the guys on that team.
No.
But look, I don't love the way the Chiefs are playing, and I like the way the Packers are playing to a point where it's just not like, this isn't like them playing. I was going to use the Bears, but the Bears have gotten better. Packers have just gotten better. I don't like the Packers. I don't necessarily like the Packers to beat them, but I'm not going to long road favorite. That's a perennial public team. What could possibly go wrong? This Packers team is not packed it in. So yeah.
No.
Oh,
they're live on
words by
Bird.
Yeah, look at that.
Have it packed.
You didn't even notice that. For me,
slip that one in, man.
6.5. Like, I don't know if I'm interested in laying points on the road with Kansas City. Like even a
not
little
at this moment. Not 6.5.
And like Berg kind of said, like, no, even if they were 3.5 point favorites, honestly, Green Bay could win this game outright. I'm just like looking at the stats here. Yeah, it's Green Bay or pass for me in this one. 6.5. I think you do a little money line sprinkle, but yeah, I'm with you. I like how Green Bay's playing. They're going to have rest advantage. They were on that Thursday night win, or Thursday, morning win, I guess, if it was a noon start. So they're excited. I don't think it's a letdown spot after you just beat an in-division rival who everyone said you were going to get dogged at. Now you're at home. You're an underdog again. Bulletin board this, bulletin board that. Chiefs probably do win this game, but 6.5, that's a lot of points for a team at home in the cold of Lambeau. So I'm taking the 6.5.
Throwing a little bonus one in here. Detroit, speaking of the team that the Packers beat on Thanksgiving, Detroit 4-point favorites at New Orleans. Berg thought early in the season that the Saints would be in play for a higher seed.
That died quickly.
Hey, pull up the episode, everybody. I'm not trying to throw my man Berg under the bus. But
It happened, dude. It happened.
Hell no.
Hey, you know what?
Hell no.
Nah,
that was
29-1. They had that. I mean, look, it was good odds. I mean, also that being said, I mean, I do like the Saints here.
Me too.
Really?
Yeah.
Surprisingly,
I
think the Lions are gonna whip the piss out of this team.
I mean, I'm not big on this Lions
you think
team.
I'm not big on this. They're just gonna beat anybody.
Team, but the Saints team just finds ways to like stay in a couple things. Look, I have not been impressed with this Lions team when like they got waxed by the Ravens. They got like they had to dig themselves out of different holes. Yeah, look, I think the advantage of the Lions that this is another game where they get to kind of run and do whatever. But I don't think they're going to be able to do some of the stuff that they have been able to establish on the run against the Saints team that they've been able to do on other teams. And Jared Goff has massively come back down to earth over the last few weeks. And those are kind of mistakes. This is a boring, disgusting, not offensively efficient Saints team. But guess what? They do know how to play defense really well. So, and they're at home.
Yeah, I just think, they still, Jared Goff gets to play inside a dome. He's coming off of a really bad game. I would lay the 4 on the road. I'm never in love laying points with the road favorite, but this team also just under Dan Campbell, like off of a loss, ankle biting, all of that stuff. It's not just like anecdotal. I mean, even just if you look at this season, off a loss, they're 2-0, straight up and against the spread, winning those games over 14 points. I know that it was against the Panthers, and I know that it was against the Falcons, but I don't know. I just think, motivationally, this is a kind of guy who gets people up. If you go back to last year off a loss, they're over 4 points per game that they're covering off of a loss. 6 of them, 4 of them ATS losses are straight up. I'm laying it. I'm laying the 4, guys. I don't think we agreed on one game yet.
No, we agreed on when you and I agreed on the Broncos.
I mean, just round table. I don't know. Round table, we haven't had one unanimous yet.
Sharps are gonna say, well, actually, I got to tell you. Let me just check something in a certain app to see about if certain people are on something, because I have a little bit of a system that I like to do. And that's
it's a great system.
13 and 2. It's a company that's not going to be named, but when more than 10 of their experts are on one side, I have to fade that side. So right now, none of them have made decisions yet.
They bet on the day of, but they say that they bet a week.
They say that they bet it earlier, and they never got that number, which is why when everybody was on the Bills and it was a system play and they all had 2.5, I laughed all the way to the money bank. So yeah, but no, I don't know. This Detroit team just has problems with. I don't know what their level is. I guess that's what it is. I don't know. I think that they're a very good mid team.
Right. I don't think that they're ready to be one of these, kind of bullies, so to speak, to the extent that bullying is ever, seen as a positive thing. But, like the teams that are kind of like the Cowboys, I think the Cowboys are two steps ahead of where the Lions are, in my opinion. So Aaron Rodgers is back at Jets practice. Will he really end up playing with the Jets teetering now this season?
The best tweet,
they're 4-7.
The best tweet I saw on this was someone said, "Now would be a really great time for the other Achilles to do something hilarious."
Ooh. Yeah, like I'm never gonna wish injury on anyone. Like, don't get me wrong, but him coming back is just him doing
crazy.
It's just so he can be like, I told you science isn't real.
Yes, it is.
I am the only science. I am Zool, the keeper of all things great. Like this fucking weirdo, dude. Like, congrats. Come back for a shitty team. You're probably going to get injured again because that offensive line is a gosh darn turnstile. I figured I already used all my allotted swears for the episode, Matt. So that's why I
go ahead. Do your thing, man.
But like,
I could put the E on it.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But I just, it's so idiotic for him to come back, and it's just for him to do his dumb shtick. Like, how many times do you have to be on Pat McAfee talking about Fauci and COVID? Like 3 years after any of that stuff happened, and it's just like, okay, we get it, Aaron Rodgers. You're so smarter than everyone else.
Yeah,
like,
if he's so smart, why didn't
disprove science?
If he's so smart, why was his handpicked backup Tim Boyle?
Yeah,
that's his hand. That's his dude. That's his dude, man. That is his dude.
If he's so smart, Berg, why is he wearing? Why is he in a New York Jets jersey? Because ain't nobody who's a brainiac should be the host of Jeopardy.
He gave up money.
Yeah,
they could get Dalvin Cook.
He also went to the infinitely more difficult conference to be in to like do whatever to be successful. Like you went to arguably, like you went to easily the hardest conference. It's got the best quarterbacks. So like it
makes us Californians look bad. Damn it,
he's a dummy. He's from Chico. He's not from like he's. I mean, he's just. What is there a more unlikable quarterback right now than him?
No, Tom Brady is the only one. If Tom Brady comes out of retirement,
I like Kirk. You like Kirk or Aaron Rodgers?
I don't dislike Kirk. Kirk's grown.
I don't dislike Kirk. I watched quarterback.
I hated Washington Commanders or Washington.
Yeah, I didn't like him there.
I didn't like it, but I like Vikings Kirk.
I like
the
Vikings
upstanding
Kirk too.
Community member. Like I'm in on Vikings Kirk.
Yeah, he feels like he shops at Kohl's in Minnesota.
He does.
In Washington, it feels like
100%.
he was laying the groundwork to drive people to the Capitol. You know, like I wasn't really into that.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And also, dude, like it also reminds me of how cut short RJ3's career was. Because like like think about that. If RJ3 had gotten hurt, how different everything would have been. How many different lives would have been changed?
Not RJ.
I said RG.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh.
If I did, I meant to. RG3. Think about how different. Because if RG3 doesn't get hurt, they probably don't go through a quarterback carousel and then use Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins probably never gets a chance. Then never plays on a tender contract. Kirk Cousins probably never gets paid if that doesn't happen.
Right, because he was a fourth rounder. It would have taken some time.
Third or fourth rounder, and it was weird, and it was that kind of thing. But like, if he doesn't blow, like RG3 literally blew out his knee like in a playoff game.
Yeah, that they really shouldn't have forced him out.
They shouldn't have forced him. Yeah, no, I agree.
It was bad. It's an insult to football. Who are y'all? Who are going to get the 3 AFC Wild Card spots this year?
Steelers
Wild Card
are going to get one of them.
So
y'all feeling the Browns? Do the Browns
because Dolphins are going to win their division, right?
Yeah,
Dolphins are going to win the East. So Bills.
I don't think the Bills are going to make the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah, I'm on that scene. I'm on that.
Yeah.
That play. I like my 3 wild card teams are the Steelers, the Broncos, and the Texans.
I would go. I don't hate the Steelers look. I think the Bills do end up getting in there. I like the Broncos too. So I'm going to say, I like that quite a bit. Steelers, Broncos, Bills. Those would be my 3. And if I had to interchange someone, like if you give me an alternate where you can say, I think the Colts are live to sneak in the end of the playoffs, man. They're playing good football right now. I think the Jonathan Taylor injury stymies it a little bit, but I'll tell you what, out of the 2
Zach
guys,
Moss is no slouch, man. He was great.
I completely agree. And I will say if there's out of Gannon, out of Steichen was the one that I wasn't really happy that we ended up losing is all I'm going to say. And I think
that's the biggest one I noticed, that we don't look prepared offensively.
Yeah. And I also just think part of the problem with the Colts and why they're never getting it over, it's such a shit show with Irsay, man. It's such a it's such a shit show.
Can't get
guy.
right.
So
and nobody.
My official 3 are what I'm sticking with, but I wouldn't be shocked if we see the Colts in the conversation.
See the Cleveland. It's interesting because Cleveland's already at 7 wins with 6 to go. So they got the Rams this week, the Jags the week after. Bears the week after, Texans, Jets, Bengals.
Oh, all these teams have nothing schedules.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. But I also just think and I know the defense, I think top to bottom, the Steelers are just a better team than the Browns.
Steelers also control their own destiny to win that division.
Exactly.
People don't realize. If the Steelers win out, the Steelers win the AFC North.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm saying I think the Browns they sneak in to get one of those spots. Although I think that those are your bet. The three teams that you all just named are the three best. The three teams who would actually give somebody. I think the Browns would be an automatic one and done. Those other three teams are live teams that actually beat somebody on Wild Card weekend.
Yeah. My favorite prop of the week, I don't bet props. I don't bet Sunday props early. I just don't always do it. If Neuby tells me he really likes something, or there's I will, but I just haven't done it. And I Najee Harris this weekend against the Cardinals is a smash spot for me, even in a timeshare. It's the Cardinals. Cardinals have given up Cardinals gave up over 230 rushing yards last week.
Crazy.
His number was his number is now 53, and I still love it.
Why wouldn't we just go at 52.5? Why? I mean, for 4 extra yards, why wouldn't we just look at Jaylen Warren?
No, because honestly, I didn't want to be a D-bag and say I got it at 45 when it opened up. But I'm just saying, it's basically what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that even in a timeshare, I like playing the rushing yards. I would actually play the alts on both of them. At this point, I would play the alts on both of them. I'd play probably Najee Harris for whatever it is. It's probably at 55 is probably about if he's at 53 now at 110, 55 or even 60, whatever it is going to be a plus 105 type of situation. I would play that. And then Jaylen Warren, I'm probably play a receptions one of it. Either way, I think they're both going to eat. Royce Freeman got 79 yards last weekend, and Kyron Williams got 150. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it at all. And the game script is them to run the ball lock because they're a home favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also Jaylen Warren 75.5 rushing receiving. I don't hate that.
I like that a lot. I like that actually. I like that a lot. But I would take an alt, and I was asking if I was going to It's not a ladder because I don't trust Najee, but it opened and I was it was open at 44 and I was this is way too low. This is way too low. But look, people are listening to this, can't get that number. So I'm not going to do that crap, but I'm just going to tell people I like his rushing up to the 55, 56 area. But I would pivot to Jaylen Warren as the rushing receiving, as you had said. I think this is especially in a situation where you have a home team favored by a lot of points, which means that the game script is protect the home lead and run the fuck out of the ball. So,
So currently over in the NFC, the 3 wild card teams are the Cowboys at 8-3, Seahawks at 6-5, right behind them, their next opponent, and the Vikings at 6-6. You got the Packers, Rams, and Saints who finished that up. Who are the 3 over there on that side?
I mean, it's Cowboys are going to do it. Cowboys will do it. So my take on this I think this Vikings team their defense is much improved. I think that people need to remember, while Josh Dobbs is a great story, he's a very, very good backup. Yeah. Just like Nick Foles was a very, very good backup. And backups are high variance players. They're not starting quarterbacks for a reason. You're seeing it. This is he's high variance. It's going to be a very good throw. It's going to be a very bad throw. Could they get in? Possibly. I'm not super convinced that. I mean, they probably will because there's a lot of There's a lot of mediocrity in the NFC. But
I'm taking the Packers. I think their division
I'd love to see the
Packers
do it, to be honest. I think that'd be great.
Yeah. The rest of those teams, I'm not trying to see them.
Cowboys is the mortal lock of the century.
Absolutely.
If the Sharps have it their way, they could be live to win the NFC East in 2 weeks. So I guess we'll see that, cross that bridge. But Cowboys lock of the century for me. And then I think we get 3 teams in the playoffs out of the NFC West. I think Seahawks make it, and I think the Rams sneak in. I think the Rams are playing really good.
I would love for the Rams to sneak in.
And I also think whoever gets to go to the NFC South, congratulations, you get a free playoff win because the NFC South is going to host a playoff game. And
I forgot about that.
They're garbage. Yeah. It is the Falcons right now.
Yeah, Falcons, Saints, who cares? Who's ever going to host that is going to be pee-pee, poo-poo, caca. And so
they're all live.
Yeah.
The whole division is still alive in this thing
because
right now.
they're dog water.
Poo-poo
The
caca,
second
as
straight
you just
year where
said.
we've had this problem.
Yeah, pee poo caca. It's a technical term.
All right, so the Birds are 2-point underdogs at home on 425 Sunday. Who wins this game? Do the Niners cover that 2-point spread there?
And like I said earlier in the show, everyone who sells plays, everyone who considers themselves a sharp bettor, like Eagles are frauds, Eagles are this, Eagles are that. This is the week. I've made, they finally cashed a ticket if they got the closing line value betting Buffalo plus 3.5. That was the only ticket that was out there. And a lot of the people who are sharp bettors, they didn't even get that ticket. So they'll tell you that they did, but they didn't. They've been losing money on the Eagles all year long. Guys, I don't know what to pick in this game. I wouldn't bet this game. I don't know what to do with the total because I think the defenses could force turnovers. I'm not betting this game with the 10-foot pole outside of props. From a fan perspective, and I know you guys are both going to look at me sideways, I want the Eagles to lose this game, to be honest with you. I don't want them to lose the 1 seed, but I also don't think that the 1 seed is all that important. They've shown that they can go on the road and win meaningful games, and would I rather have them giving double revenge to the eventual meetup that they have against the 49ers, or letting the 49ers feel like, oh, we finally got them, we told you guys shouldn't have won, and giving the Eagles much more bulletin board material? I wouldn't be shocked whoever wins this game. I think it's going to be a tight game. I don't think either team blows anybody out. If I had to pick it, I would lay the 2 with the 49ers, and it's simply because I feel like my heart wants the Eagles to lose this game. Even though I want them to win, don't get me wrong, I just feel like in the long-term sense of things, it's better for the Philadelphia Eagles to lose this football game.
Yeah, I had this theory of like, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. You're going to see this team again in the playoffs.
You will.
So maybe not show them everything and maybe kind of treat it like whatever. I mean, I don't think that the Niners have home field advantage. That stadium's an hour away from San Francisco.
Exactly.
So I'm not worried about it, but I think that, look, if you want to know, like the Eagles are, anybody who backs the Eagles this weekend who is not an Eagles fan Eagles are going to be a very public dog. They're a 10-1 team as a dog getting points at home after arguably the best NFL game of the season comeback win. Like, from a betting perspective, the Eagles are not the play. I'm not touching anything on this game. I'm probably going to go and do the probably going to bet a score in the first 7 minutes and then do a live under. But
bet the teaser. Bet the teaser with them in Dallas.
Yeah, I'll do the teaser. I mean, the Niners aren't going to go into Philadelphia and blow them and beat them by more than by 8 points. So it's just not like they don't want to do that either. They still got stuff to do.
They beat them if they beat them at all. They beat them by a field goal, and that's why, going back to what we talked about earlier, I like the field goal props in this one too.
I just, until I see it, I'm gonna have to see. I think they turn Brock Purdy into a pumpkin again. I think he plays the whole game, and they cook his ass.
I love
dude.
that.
Worse teams have been cooking him.
That's very fair.
I mean, I think that this team is still due some turnovers. Bradbury got one last week. Slay still really hasn't made those big impact plays that he's known for making. I think that changes everything. Well, so y'all have anything coming out before the game that we should look forward to, or anything you want us to go take a look at?
For me, I don't know. Go ahead, Berg. You go.
No, man. I just listened to your stuff.
Oh, that's all I do. I just listen to my best friend's stuff. That's why it says underneath our name, Adam's best friend and Dan's best friend. I do a show weekly with my man Eric Pauly. It's called Gold Cheat TV. It's on YouTube. You can check that out. We drop picks every single week. We have been absolutely crushing it because I think iron sharpens iron. Me and him go back and forth, whether we agree, whether we disagree. So that drops every Thursday. And then we're on a little bit of a hiatus because there's been some things going on. But you can always check out Cash Considerations podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Me, Dave Sherapan, Anthony Yanitsi, if you want some laughs and some sports betting content that is extremely off the wall. That's Cash Considerations for you. But always, boys, love doing this. This is the best hour and change that you can spend listening to a podcast.
Absolutely. Berg, what you got going on?
I got the Bird and Berg show that I'm doing with Birdman. That's also
Great show.
Well, it's just been a nuts couple weeks with the holidays, so we're kind of getting that back up with Dan Morgan, who's our superstar producer. And I just did a podcast today for FTN, but I've been bopping around a lot more on Sports Grid with Dave Sharapan and jump on there, talk NBA and do that. But right now I'm kind of trying to not do a lot the rest of the year. I'm tired. So I just people can find me on things, but I'm ready to kind of sleep for December.
Word. Well, thank y'all so much for coming on. It's always great to talk our shit. So y'all take it easy. See you soon.